Now, what happened is that JPEG, because of various reasons I don't want to enter to, was not really handling the high dynamic range images very well. So one of the first thing that happened was, the ecosystem is so strong that you cannot unseat it by creating new formats that have to replace in a non-compatible way the old one. So why not join a very strong ecosystem that is the JPEG one, and this created Jpeg Xt. Jpeg Xt is a backward compatible standard. It's a backward compatible in the sense that legacy decoders can still decode JPEG Xt images, but of course the result won't be, for example, high dynamic range. It will be just standard dynamic range, which is what a regular JPEG 1 decoder is expecting. Now, the architecture there had to be, as you could imagine, a little bit done in a way that legacy JPEG decoders can skip over information they don't understand or they cannot process. And that mechanism was already available in JPEG 1 when it was designed through application markers. In fact, when those who designed JPEG 1, they just provisioned that some companies probably want to add some information, and this information is maybe even not decipherable or understandable by just any JPEG decoder. So they actually made a provision so that you can signal that some bits can be just skipped over. So the same approach was used in Jpeg Xt in the sense that Jpeg Xt is basically a JPEG file plus some things that you need to add to this JPEG file in order to make it, for example, high dynamic range. So the codec actually is a layered coding. So on the top here, you see the low dynamic range branch, which is just the JPEG 1. It's a little bit simplified version of what I showed you before. And then on the bottom side, you see the enhancement layer, you could call it, that if you receive information will help you to create the high dynamic range by relying on the low dynamic range. Any decoder, any legacy decoder will use the one on the top and will be able to decode it. Some decoders, the ones that are compliant with Jpeg Xt, they can also decode what is on the bottom, and they get better images. Now, the reason I'm bringing this to you is that this is how JPEG started little by little thinking about alternative architectures for coding than its first generation of standards. You could call these second generation standards.